Hello, Kipsters, second and third graders. This is lesson 11 of science. You guys have been doing so well. Shout out to Tyson for receiving Science Kipster of the Week. He's been working super hard, getting 100% on all of his exit tickets. Tells me that he's just been paying attention, trying his hardest. And I see a lot of people who are doing the same thing. Can't wait to see who gets Kipster of the Week next week. So, on this lesson, we're going to start off with our vocabulary words. And in this lesson, we're going to use our knowledge of inheritance to evaluate family models of inheritance. So, we're going to be looking at Wolf 44 and figuring out why that Wolf 44 is a lighter colored wolf than the other wolves in the Elk Mountain pack. And we're going to see why that is and answer one of our big questions, which is why was that Wolf 44 different from the other wolves? So we're going to start off with our vocabulary words. Environment, all living things and non-living things in an area. So that's the environment. It's like a place where people or living things or organisms can live. Family tree. We seen family tree last week in our lesson and seeing how like the different generations of your family, like your mom, dad, grandmother, grandfather, and so on and so forth, and different people in your family, how you were born. So it can go show like your dad's mom, your aunts, your cousins, your grandmothers, your great aunts, your great great grandmothers, all the people that are in your family. Generation. It is a group of offspring that came from from the same parent at the same level in the family. So when you look at different generations, you could think of like your brothers and sisters, your one generation, your aunts and uncles and mom and or dad are all in one generation. All your grandmother, your grandfather, and your great uncles and great aunts, they're all another generation. Genes and DNA are just instructions for making in organisms that are in cells and passed from parents to offspring. So when we see what's inherited, people inherit their DNA and genes, and this comes from your mom and dad. Inherit to get traits from your parents, um, or you can also inherit money or things like that, like your mom or dad. You can give you money. You can inherit money from somewhere. But for this lesson, we're going to be just talking about inheriting DNA and genes. So just like what makes us look the way that we look and what's inside of us to make us um, be who we are. Larvae life cycle stage for insects when they are small before it is a pupa. Life cycle, the process and changes each organism goes through as they are born, grow, change, reproduce, and eventually die. So this is just like how everyone's lives go on. Offspring are children or baby plants that come from parents. Organisms are living things such as a plant or animal. Pupa, life cycle stage for insects when they transform. For example, the pupa stage of a caterpillar, it is busy transforming into a butterfly. Reproduction, when parents make offspring. And species, a group of organisms that are very similar. So, moving on to our PowerPoint. We're going to be answering that big question, like I said. Why is that Wolf 44 different from the other wolves that are in its pack? And our other big question is how do organisms get their traits? As we learn, we get our traits from our parents. We get our traits from our parents. Everything that make us look the way we look, not act the way we act, but just look the way we look, and like what's inside of us comes from our parents. Warm up. Is it possible for offspring to inherit a trait that neither of its parents have? I want you to think about this. Is it possible for offspring to inherit a trait that neither of its parents have? I want you to take a second, put the video on pause, think about that answer, and come back with that answer. The answer is no. Offsprings cannot inherit. It is not possible for offspring to inherit a trait that neither parent has. The offspring has to get genes and DNA or traits from its parents. So I have to get like a beard from my dad. I have to get like things that come up on me. I have my like if my dad had no beard, then I can't have a beard. So whatever your parents have, your mom or dad, those traits are in you inherit them. So it can be from your mom or dad, but if both of them, your mom or dad, don't have those traits, then you won't have it. Big question: how do organisms get their traits? We just learned this is from our parents. We get our traits from our parents. How were we able to determine which offspring were possible and which offspring were not possible? So last week when we were looking at those fruit flies, how did we figure out which fruit flies were the right offspring for their parents? We learned that each trait has to come from your parents. So we observed each of the fruit flies to figure out did they have the traits that the parents have. So if the parent had a black or a black stripe, and the both the parents had black stripes and the parent had a yellow stripe, that offspring can that offspring have a brown stripe when the parents both have black stripes? The answer is no. The traits that are passed down to the offspring have to come from the parents. So either the mom or the dad has to have those traits in order for the offspring or the child to have that. Today we will show you what we know about inheritance and traits after finishing chapter 2 of our unit. So we pretty much finished chapter 2 of our unit, and that's when we were talking about Wolf 44. I'm going to move on here. So, claim, evidence, reasoning. We're all familiar with our claim, evidence, and reasoning. So, claim tells us the answer that we are saying. Evidence tells me where I get that answer. And the reasoning comes from how we learn that answer. For example, when we looked at the monsters, and we seen that a monster had a spiky tail. Can that spiky tail monster come from the parents that did not have a spiky tail? No. So I would say no. My claim is no. That monster cannot be the offspring of these two parents. Evidence. This is because we learned that the traits need to be passed down from the parents. So if the parents don't have a spiky tail, then the offspring or the children cannot have a spiky tail. So my reasoning says that the spiky tailed monster is not the offspring of these two parents, because if it was, one of the parents would have a spiky tail. So that wasn't, and that wasn't the case. So whenever we're explaining something, we use claim, evidence, and reasoning. So when we get back to school, we're going to keep doing the same thing. And I know you're thinking about it right now. We obviously don't have paper where we can write our claim, evidence, and reasoning, but we can still think about it. So claim is your answer. Evidence is how we learn that answer. So it could be from a video we watched. It could be something that Mr. Jennings taught. It could be one of the books that we read. So when we read the book about organisms, we learned that in the organism book that traits cannot be passed down. Traits are passed down from parents. And so this is how we get our answers. We use claim, evidence, and reasoning, which we're going to be using on our next part. So this is our claim, evidence, and reasoning rubric that we always use. So we start with a sentence that clearly summarizes my argument or explanation. Our evidence wrote how I know it happened this way using what we text, investigations, observations, or scientific ideas that we learned about, and explain how and why it happens and how my evidence supports my claim. And then in your language, I'll just be looking for different words. So these are like our vocabulary words, like talking about organisms, talking about offspring, talking about generations, talking about family trees. Using any of this scientific vocabulary that we've learned is helpful to explaining your answer. Directions. Directions. The scientists of Yellowstone National Park are trying to figure out which family Wolf 44 belongs to. Wolf 44 hunts with the Elk Mountain Pack. So remember, we seen that pack mountains. We seen that light gray wolf, which was Wolf 44, but all of the dark gray and black wolves were with Wolf 44. But looks more like the wolves in the bison pack. And we're going to see those things shortly. Part A, claim. Which model is correct and why? So this will be in our exit ticket. Inheritance model 1 is correct because Wolf 44 hunts and lives with the Elk Mountain Pack. Inheritance model 1 is correct because Wolf 44 has the same physical traits. These are different answers that you can choose from. So this will be A, B, C, and D. So A, inheritance model number 1 is correct because Wolf 44 hunts and lives with the Elk Mountain Pack. Inheritance model number 1 is correct because Wolf 44 has the same physical traits as the parents of the Elk Mountain family tree. Inheritance model 2 is correct because Wolf 44 hunts and lives with the Bison Valley Pack. Or D, inheritance model 2 is correct because Wolf 44 has the same physical traits as the parents and the bison family tree. So this just gives us an idea what our answers will look like. It'll make more sense when we see the pictures. So we're going to use our resources like our word bank. So these are different words that we've learned to make up our claim, evidence, or reasoning. So we learned the word environment, trait, evidence, offspring, family tree, DNA, model, inherit. All of these words in this word bank can support you in getting your answer. So here we have the Elk Mountain Pack. And then this is Wolf 44 here. We have Wolf 44 at the bottom. So we have Wolf 40, Wolf 48. So Wolf 40 is the mom, Wolf 48 is the dad. And we see all of the offspring from Wolf 40 and Wolf 48. We see the mom, dad. We see all of the offspring. So we see Wolf 41, 42, 43, 45, and our wolf that we're studying, Wolf 44. Do all of these wolves look alike to you? For the most part, they do, except for Wolf 44. Wolf 44 looks different from each one of the wolves inside the Elk Mountain family pack. We are asking, why is that? Why is that? And we need to come up with our answer towards the end, and we'll see what we can figure out. So this is the Elk Mountain family. We see that Wolf 44 looks nothing like any of its brothers and sisters at the bottom or the parents. Here we have Bison Valley family. This is the inheritance model number 2. So here we have Wolf 60, Wolf 66. So we have like a lighter gray, even a lighter gray, different wolves in the pack. Does Wolf 44 look like it belongs in the Bison Valley pack? Yeah, it looks similar to the other wolves. It's that lighter colored, like the mom and the dad in this one. It doesn't look like the darker wolves that are in the Elk Mountain Valley pack. So I need to be thinking, why do you think that is? Why do you think Wolf 44 looks like the Bison family pack, but is in the Elk Mountain pack? Which one do you think that Wolf 44 belongs in? So, key takeaways. Genes provide the instructions for our traits. So they tell us where our traits go. They are material used inside of our body that are passed down from our parents when our parents reproduce and we are created. Organisms cannot have traits that are like one parent, organisms can have traits that are like one parent or a mix of both parents. A family tree shows how members of the family are related. So this is a small family tree. Do we think that Wolf 44, do you think which one is its family? Do you think the Elk Mountain family, that Wolf 44 mom and dad is Wolf 40 and 48 in the Elk Mountain? Or do you think that that the Bison Valley family looks more like Wolf 44? The answer is the Bison family. The Bison family has the color that Wolf 44 looks like. So maybe Wolf 44 got lost or it couldn't keep up with the pack. And the Elk Mountain pack took Wolf 44 in, so it can be a part of their family because we know that that a wolf has to look, or the offspring has to look like the parents. It has to get traits from the parents. So although it's running with the Elk Mountain family pack, his parents are the Bison family pack because it looks more like Wolf 44. So this is our lesson for today. Our exit ticket will have the same question, and you'll be able to figure out which one of these packs is the right pack. So if I go, to our question here, and we see these two wolf packs, which you'll see in your exit ticket, your answer should be the Bison Valley family. And the reason why is because um, inheritance model number 2 is correct because Wolf 44 has the same physical traits as the parent in the Bison family tree. Wolf 44 doesn't live with the Bison family, so C is not right. It lives with the Elk Mountain family. B is incorrect because it doesn't have the same physical traits as the Elk Mountain family tree. The Elk Mountain family tree are darker colored wolves, and A is incorrect because Wolf 44, it does live with the Elk Mountain pack, but that's not which one it should be with. It should be with D, which is our right answer. So catch you guys later. See who does well on the exit ticket. Can't wait to see who skips of the week next week. Love you guys. Stay safe.